Waiting. Just waiting. It slowed down. Okay. Can you see and hear me, sir?
I can see you and I can hear you.
Great. Roger that. Are you ready to get started?
I'm ready and I'm excited.
That's good. That's good. Okay, here we go. Welcome to Just Curious Media. This is Let's Talk Cobrakai. I'm Jason Connell.
And I'm Sal Rodriguez.
All right, Sal. We are back for another episode.
Yes, a special. I say special because a lot of our episodes are special. This is even more special than special.
Very special. There's a little
very special.
Yes, because we are out of nowhere having another discussion about something. It's part 2. It's the Karate Kid and Cobra Kai Collectibles Volume 2.
Yeah.
Now, Sal, when we had Volume 1, which was super excited. I loved the episode. It's great. It just recently came out. But I thought, well, that'd be it. We'll revisit this later. But out of nowhere, something happened today on my end and yesterday on your end, which put this in motion. So please, why don't you explain what that is?
Yes, that is, we had a special delivery. There's more special again. Special delivery from our friends over at Icon Heroes Toy Makers. They make a number of toys and collectibles and action figures. And for our purposes, namely Karate Kid. And when I say that, I mean specifically Karate Kid.
Right.
Because some makers will make Cobra Kai action figures, or they'll do these hybrids. In this instance, these are specifically Karate Kid action figures. And in the past, they did Cobra Kai action figures.
Mm-hmm.
So these are indeed Karate Kid action figures made by Icon Heroes, delivered for our show to us, for us to talk about and discuss, and maybe have a promo code for our listeners.
Yeah, super exciting, because I'm not a toy collector. As a child, in my youth, I loved toys, Star Wars figures, G.I. Joe figures, but I beat them up and I wasn't keeping in box and all that. But I respect things and I like collectibles, different things from movies or shows. So when you told me, hey, what's your address? They're going to send you some. I was like, hey, that's kind of cool. Because, we could do an unpacking, if you will.
Yeah.
Not that we're going to do a full toy review, because I don't really do those, but we can talk about them, present them to our listeners, audio. If the audio listeners would be as descriptive as we can be.
Sure. Yeah.
And video, you can watch along. But also because, hey, I may play with, I don't know what these are. I don't know much about these, but whatever they are, I may film something. Like I could do little fun things like you do and, helping promote the brand. Let's talk Cobra Kai and just Curious Media as a whole. So I thought that was really cool. So thanks for thinking of me. And they showed up, because I was like, well, I'm in Rhode Island. It's going to take a while. It just took one more day. So they were here today just in time to do this fun unveiling. I've never done one of these on the show, or we've never done one of these on the show. So, and you do this all the time. You're a pro. I mean, this is your wheelhouse. Look at all those toys behind you. You unpacked all of those.
I did. But just to be clear though, Jason, there are various ways to do an official toy review.
Okay.
One of those ways is you being on camera, the host being on camera themselves. The other way is just the toy or collectible being on camera, which is actually a little easier.
Yeah.
Because then it's just your hands, maybe you're focused on the item. You just do the narration. It's a little bit easier as far as logistics. Now, you and I talking to each other, 2 talking heads. Now we have to introduce the variable of a small collectible.
Right.
So it gets a little interesting logistically. So we have to consider where we're going to hold these figures in relationship to the camera.
That's right.
And in relationship to our own faces.
Yeah.
So
and I have a small crew over here on mine. I don't know about you.
I have a stand-in. I'll be bringing a stand-in in for myself.
Now, let's be clear, though. This is not a review. We don't need to get in the weeds. We're just going to have, broad strokes.
It's not an official. Well, as I mentioned to Jason before we started recording, the word review is open for interpretation. The word review can be reviewed. Yeah, exactly. It's like I've seen and done reviews in every shape and form.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that you and I are going to unbox an action figure and even talk about it for 10 minutes is indeed a review.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah. It's not, believe me, I got some friends on YouTube. They review stuff for like an hour.
Wow.
An hour.
Yeah. It's a long time.
That's not Let's Talk Cobra Kai, though. We're going to be a little more efficient.
Yeah. I didn't call this episode this unboxing, although it's exciting. So I'll put it in the notes. But and last week, I've got to say, the last episode, I should say, it is great. And we do broad strokes. We talked about the industry, past, present, and future, how it relates to the Karate Kid and Cobra Kai. You did show some collectibles. It was cool to see how, oh, these have cloths and these have more points of articulation and these have less. And I saw a brand that I didn't really, I wasn't too fond of, but Icon Heroes is one of the ones I liked. I was like, hey, they look good. And in fact, it's the one that we did you had me do some voiceover for a couple of videos on the Salvador Rodriguez YouTube page.
That's correct. On the Salvador Los Angeles channel.
Sorry, what I say, Salvador Rodriguez.
Salvador Rodriguez.
That's your other channel.
That's my other channel.
Salvador Los Angeles. Correct. Thank you.
If you go to the Salvador Los Angeles YouTube channel, you will see content related to Cobra Kai and Karate Kid. You will see action figures, Cobra Kai, Karate Kid. And namely, I've made 2 short films called The Adventures of Daniel and Johnny, Volume 1 and Volume 2. Volume 1 had figures by NECA. Volume 2 had figures by Icon Heroes. So now here we are today, come full circle with more figures by Icon Heroes. This time, not Daniel and Johnny.
Yes.
But Daniel and
I don't know.
Miyagi.
I don't know yet.
Don't you know? You know.
I do.
You don't know? Okay.
Without further ado, now the packaging goes a long way. I took it out of the box. No, to be clear, the outside box, not
the shipping box,
not the packaging. I got it to this level. So let's show people the really nice packaging. No figures yet. So you can see pretty snazzy there. Miyagi-Do karate. That's the front.
Yeah, the sun and the bonsai tree.
The sun and the bonsai tree. It's the logo
beautiful.
from the original film. It's the back of the gi. And let's spin it around ever so slowly. I guess you can see that. Well, we'll come back. The back, there it is. Them practicing. Miyagi and Daniel. And it says, Sal, go ahead and read what it says for us.
It says the Karate Kid, Mr. Miyagi and Daniel, convention exclusive. Now, what toy makers do is they will make, I had to learn this myself. Toy makers will make a version for a convention like Comic-Con. There's also Toy Fair is a big convention. They will make figures.
There's that noise again. It was consistent.
Always get some static.
So if it does it, just say it again so I have clean audio.
Got it.
Go ahead.
So the toy makers will make figures for a convention exclusively. They call it a convention exclusive. So this could have been a previews exclusive or Toy Fair, probably not Comic-Con, but one of the recent, because this is recent.
Yes.
So either the one to come, in fact, I wonder if it's upcoming Comic-Con. I don't know if it's going to be Comic-Con, but this was a convention exclusive, just not certain which convention.
Yeah. It's the Let's Talk Cobra Kai convention. No one knows about it yet. So on the sides, though, I also like this. Yes. Yeah. There's the crane. Daniel's practicing the crane
on the beach,
on the beach, on the pole. It says the Karate Kid. Once again, Mr. Miyagi and Daniel. Icon Heroes. There's our logo. Really slick. Kind of looks like a video game logo. I like that. And same on both sides. And so, of course, there's the warning on the bottom, Sal.
What?
Not a toy. Keep that in mind, Sal. Not for persons under 10 years old. And so just FYI.
No, wait a second. Not for persons under 18 years old.
Oh, you're right. Apologies.
No, but that's interesting. Not for persons under 18, really?
Yeah. I was 10. That's why there's a way it could be 18.
This is an 18 and over toy. That sounds weird.
That
sounds weird.
Okay. So
hang on, Jason. There is one more warning. Since we're talking about toys here, something about toys, and particularly plastic, is the fragility of it. And you have to be careful. There's even a warning here. In colder climates, the plastic materials tend to tighten more than normal, causing the joints to be tighter. If you are experiencing this issue, simply dip the heads and hands in hot water for approximately 30 seconds, and the joints should loosen up, allowing you to pose the figure and interchange the heads and hands more easily. So I just want to warn everybody. I have had a lot of experience breaking figures. So please be careful out there. Anybody opening up a collectible action figure, please be careful. Don't treat them like toys, unfortunately. And when it comes to heating, it's often recommended to use hot water. I use a hair dryer. I hit them with a hair dryer because, hey, I don't need it. I don't need the hair dryer. So I hit the figures with the hair dryer, and that usually warms them up. Hopefully we don't have any problems today.
That's interesting that toys deal with shrinkage too. So I didn't know.
Hey-o.
Okay, here we are. Let's bust them out. I don't even know if this is going to open up right away. So.
Yeah, there's Velcro. There's little Velcro things there. And then that opens up the window. I think they call it window box package. I see Daniel. I see Daniel.
Oh my
God.
Goodness.
So cool.
Look at this, folks.
Wow.
It's Daniel Miyagi with like 1,000 different hands to choose from. Well, okay, not 1,000. I'm over exaggerating here, but this is really impressive. It says, oh, breathe in, breathe out.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the right side say, Sal?
Wax on, wax off.
Now, where's right circle, left circle? This is really
How
amazing.
about beginner luck?
Yeah, so you see Miyagi there on the left, Daniel on the right.
Yep.
And then why don't you explain what we're looking at in the middle? I'll see if I can open mine up while you
Sure.
explain.
We have Miyagi in his tan shirt. We have Daniel in a similar shirt. In fact, I don't remember Daniel having a similar shirt to Miyagi, or maybe I'm forgetting because of my cinemamnesia. But Daniel has his headband on. He has a similar shirt to Miyagi, the tan work shirt. They're both wearing pants. They're both wearing shoes. And in the middle, we have a number of hands.
Yes.
Not only different hand positions, but hands on the sanders, hands with a paintbrush, hands with chopsticks, hands with sponges for washing the car. I believe this is indeed labeled the Miyagi-Larusso training set. Like, this is when Daniel was originally being trained by Miyagi. And by the way, I just to be clear, we have talked about a number of collectibles on the Let's Talk Cobra Kai podcast. At this moment in time, I've yet to see an official Daniel and Miyagi training action figure set. Has not existed before this very moment.
Yeah, this is really impressive. So in depth, a lot of little pieces. Maybe that's why they don't want someone too young. Although 18 is a bit excessive. This is like the All Valley. We should definitely make it like under 5 but whatever. I don't know the toy industry. And so
yeah, it is an interesting. The more you look at the toy industry, it's an interesting industry because they follow certain rules and guidelines, and I don't even know why they do it. But speaking of, I'm just pulling them out. Yeah, now I'm pulling them out.
I'm trying to get this thing off. This is where I really do need a staff. Because did you cut it or did you just unwind it?
I haven't done it yet.
I have this out. So now I see all the hands, all the things, all the both figures.
Wow.
And
Jason, may I just say, I say unfortunately, figures like this, adult collectible toys, aren't really meant, quote unquote, to be taken out of the packaging. They're meant to be, that Star Wars sketch?
Oh, yeah.
The Star Wars sketch where they're like, awesome, keep it in the box.
Yeah.
A lot of collectors are like that. A lot of adult collectors keep stuff in the box. They're called mint in box collectors, mint on card collectors. I am not one of them, as you can see by looking behind me. I'm not a mint on card collector. I have a few. I'm like an 80-20. 80% of my collection out of the box, 20% in box. But my point is, these are made to be kept in the box. Therefore, they're hard to get out of the box because not only is every hand has its own little piece of plastic cradle, but the figures themselves are in there with a twisty tie that you may just have to end up cutting or spend the time. You did? You twisted them?
I have Daniel.
Let me see.
You take out Miyagi.
I'll take out That's a good one. I'll take out Miyagi. You take out Daniel. Exactly.
Yeah. So here he is. This is a perturbed Daniel.
Is he?
Not happy with all the work and the chores. They should, even the toes, like you could do some special kicks here with the movable toes. This is really impressive. So I have not really played with or held a toy since my youth when I had my Star Wars and G.I. Joe, but
they're so
a little
fun.
stiff in the joints, This
Be
guy
careful.
needs some MSM.
Be careful. Needs some heat. Needs some blow dryer or hot water. Take your pick. What?
Hand fell off, but the hands are interchangeable.
Hang on, though. Did the hand break or it just fell off?
No, it just popped off.
Oh, thank God. Really, I'm telling you, I've developed PTSD when it comes to these because recently on the Salvador Los Angeles YouTube channel, I've had 2 figures break on me. Recently, the Kessler werewolf from American Werewolf in London.
No.
I took his head off to put the other head in, and then the neck joint broke right on camera. It was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. So I'm like so PTSD with figures, especially when we're recording live. I'm like, careful. So I won't even sometimes articulate them or even swap heads. Now, there's no additional heads with this set, though. Everything is additional heads.
No head comes off. So if the head comes off, there's a problem.
Well, if the head comes off, you hope it goes back on. That's what you hope.
Exactly.
While we're at it, Jason, just real quick, these are the other 2 figures that we received by Icon Heroes, and they were featured in the Adventures of Daniel and Johnny Volume 2 that we did the voices for. And that is, of course, Johnny-Lawrence and Daniellarusso. And I believe this could be considered their tournament look, right? Would you say? This was their 84 tournament look?
84 All Valley.
Okay, 84 All Valley look, Daniel and Johnny. Check out that video on my YouTube channel. So let's then compare that
Yeah, so no
Daniel to
logo.
this
So the
Daniel.
attire that Daniel's wearing is just a, beige,
Yes,
nondescript shirt. He does have on the classic headband because he
that's
does
cool.
put it on in the movie, the 10 points.
Mm.
But beyond that, and the great hair and the likeness, this is a really good representation of a young ralphmacchio, Daniellarusso. But beyond that, it's kind of like, yeah, there's no logo, there's no Miyagi-Do outfit. He
Mhm.
can't don that as well because these aren't cloth; these are plastic, right? So
Yeah,
you have some figures that have a cloth
that's
and
correct.
probably could change outfits more easily. But
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I recently did
please,
take another Daniel and Johnny. It was a couple years ago. I took Daniel and Johnny cloth figures, took off the clothes, put elf Will Ferrell elf
I
outfit
think I
on
saw
Johnny,
that,
and put a Santa outfit on Daniel, and made them Santa and elf for a
and that
great
was
Christmas
a
shot.
good Merry Christmas.
That was for Merry Christmas, exactly. So
Every
yeah, you
year,
can't do that with
Sal
these.
represents and celebrates Merry Christmas.
Well, I'll tell you guys, this has been sort of an all roads lead to this type of thing for me, because I've been a toy collector for many years, been doing toy videos on YouTube for many years now, then get involved with Jason for the Let's Talk Cobrakai podcast. Then they come out with Cobrakai figures. Then they come out with Karate Kid figures. So it's like the whole thing comes full circle for me. So this is definitely me, I guess I hate to say, me geeking out live and in person.
And that's like wherever I live, I'm by some sort of location from the Karate Kid, from Los Angeles to Miracle Mile to moving to the Boston area by the next Karate Kid. So yeah, we both have our run and Ralph Macchio coming to Tulsa when I was a kid and making The Outsiders, and so many parallels. So
Yeah.
I have Miyagi free now too.
Nice.
Both
Okay.
are free, and I can see. So for those who can see this, you can see. I almost see like Daniel's a little taller, maybe close.
Well, he should be taller, but he's not taller by much, you're saying,
Not,
right?
not on these. Miyagi, let me get a good look at him. Looks pretty wise. Looks pretty good. Yeah, no, he's got his outfit on. Interesting way they do the waist. It's a high waist. You're moving up here below the chest cavity, but
Yeah.
you're also moving at the waist. So it's like a lot of. How many points of articulation is this, Sal? This is a lot.
Well, if you count each one, we got the neck, we got the shoulder, we got the upper arm slice. That's then 1, 2, 3. Then we got a double jointed elbow. That's 4 and 5. Then we got a wrist. That's 6. And then times 2 is 12. And then, well, we have the head, so that makes it 11. And then 2 at the waist, 12, 13. Each one at the hip, 14, 15. Double jointed knee, 16, 17, 18, 19. And then the ankle, 20, 21. And then the toes, 22, 23. So I'm counting 23, but may have missed 1 or 2.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, 23 points of articulation. The figures can articulate more than I can. That's absolutely true. And since we're here, let's just have a look at the NECA Mr. Miyagi and now the Icon Heroes Mr. Miyagi. In fact, I would say that the Icon Heroes a little more flattering, a little slimmer, a little bit of a slimmer look.
Yeah. Well, I almost think these aren't. They can only go so close with this type of toy, but it's maybe more durable. The points of articulation you talked about. The other one you just held up definitely has more of a resemblance to Mr. Miyagi, I would say.
Yeah. That one there.
But he might not be able to do as much. I mean,
well, you have a bigger head. When you have a bigger head, you can do more.
That's true. You fill the frame more.
Yeah, there you go. You have a larger surface. These figures by Icon Heroes, I would say definitively would probably be the stop motion filmmaker's choice.
There you go.
Yeah, in fact, I would say that the best stop motion film on YouTube made for toy collectors for stop motion was featuring the Icon Heroes Daniel and Johnny, a very talented stop motion artist. He did a great fight sequence. It's fantastic. So yeah, if you want to do anything stop motion, you're probably going to go Icon Heroes. But meanwhile, the other ones are great too. But people call, what people call these kind of figures?
What's that?
Dolls. People call them dolls. And a lot of toy collectors are like, well, that's not a doll, it's an action figure. But it looks like a doll, but it has clothes. So, it's all open for interpretation.
And these are action figures.
These are definitively, in fact, I would probably, if somebody called the NECA Miyagi a doll, I probably would not argue much. But if you were to call the Icon Heroes figures dolls, I would probably put up an argument.
Yeah.
I would. Because these are definitively action figures.
Just because I'm not going to take all these guys out, but just looking at this really quickly before we move on. So there's also the buckets that he works with. There's the, I guess there's the paint bucket. There's the Sanders, as you said. Is that a mop bucket? Yeah. And it's tough to see with the reflection. So you kind of got to angle it. But there's a paintbrush, everything. Bow Sanders, right, left, like you said. There's a fist for punching.
What's the thing on the lowest left, lower left?
Is it that
what is that?
I thought that was one of the Sanders, but I'm not.
No, the Sanders are on the hands.
No, I know.
See?
I thought that was like a loose one. I'm not.
I can't tell what that is. It's something I can't tell what it is.
But
car wax, turtle wax.
Turtle wax.
There we go. That's what.
And so he also has a fist. So eventually he has that moment of clarity, like Jason Bourne. He's like, "Oh, I know all this now."
Yes.
Wonderful moment. So I think you could go through that, and you're going to see, Sal, probably some good stop motion animation on YouTube with these figures. How long have these figures been out? Is this a relatively new release for Icon Heroes?
That I do not know. I just found out about them within the last few weeks. I contacted Icon Heroes, my new friend Pat Wang. I said, "Hey Pat, remember me? Let's talk Cobrakai. Remember you gave us the other figures? Remember I showed him links. I wanted to refresh his memory of who we were, right?" And he's like, "Yeah." Right away, he was like, "Absolutely." I go, "Hey, you want us to have a look at the Miyagi-Larusso 2-pack?" He said, "Absolutely." I said, "Here's my address. Here's Jason's address. And here we go." So yeah, they've been very kind to us. Yeah. This is a great set. Lots of accessories. This will be the choice for stop motion filmmakers. Absolutely. A wonderful rendition and homage. I always like that word homage.
Yeah.
Wonderful homage, tip of the hat to LaRusso and Miyagi, and especially to our dearly departed friend, Patmorita.
Yes.
A beautiful rendition.
And speaking of that, because we talked about likeness on volume 1, no mention of their real names on anything. It's character names because they don't own it. We know who they're representing or who the actors were, but no mention. So I'm assuming most likely, in all likelihood, it's not George Lucas we're talking about here. No royalties going down to Patmorita's family or ralphmacchio, or you just don't know. You have no idea.
I don't know how that works. I do know that licensing is a big thing in toy making. Absolutely. So it's like, who owns the rights? Like for you toy collectors out there, you know how hard it was to get a decent Bela Lugosi Dracula action figure, because apparently the Lugosi estate was like really tight. They didn't want to let out the likeness. And so you literally couldn't for a while get a Bela Lugosi figure. Recently, they opened up the licensing and you get some good Bela Lugosi stuff now. So similarly, who knows what it's like, whoever owns the rights to the Marita estate. Yeah. And how that factors into his likeness as it relates to Mr. Miyagi. Yeah. Because you have these things. How about like the WWE? You know that those names in the WWE, like Hulk Hogan, like I don't think Hulk Hogan can go around in his outfit and be Hulkamania.
Yeah.
That's like copyrighted, To
go back 1 second, you did meet the widow of Patmorita.
I did meet. I forgot about that. Yeah, I did. I was working at a newspaper at the time, and we would do these fictitious business name statements, doing business as listings. You have to put that in the newspaper, or at least you did have to at one time. And she walked in, and I noticed her last name was Marita. I think you and I had already been doing the podcast already.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think I said to her, and I wasn't expecting a yes, but I said, "Hey, are you related to Patmorita?" And I told her about the podcast. She's like, "Absolutely, I am. I'm one of his ex-wives." I guess he had maybe a couple. I haven't kept track of his marriages, but yeah, I researched afterwards. I did want to prove that was indeed Patmorita's ex-wife that I met. Yeah.
Well, next time you see her, ask her if she gets any kickbacks or royalties on these sales of the merchandise. Or
I wouldn't assume that. I would never assume that.
Don't ask that.
I would no. What I mean is, I would never assume that the estate gets royalties. Do you know about the Bob Ross? You remember that guy that would paint?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, then they made merchandise recently. They made action figures recently.
About him now.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so there's a big thing in the toy world because apparently none of the toys that have the Bob Ross likeness goes to the Bob Ross family or estate. It goes to like the management company or something. So a lot of like actual boycotting of toys because like, listen, I don't want to support them and all that. So I hope that nothing like that goes on in the Karate Kid or Cobra Kai world.
Well, let's give a shout out to Icon Heroes, and let's please share this wonderful, gift discount code that they want to bestow upon our listeners and fans. So, Sal, why don't you do the plug because you have the relationship with them?
Yes, thank you. Icon Heroes has been very generous with our show, giving us action figures that we've used in our content, and now here we are reviewing it on one of our shows. You are welcome, all of our listeners, all of our fans, welcome to go to iconheroes.com. iconheroes.com. Look for the Miyagi LaRusso training action figure 2-pack. When you make your purchase, put in Miyagi 35. That's all capitals, Miyagi 35, and receive, I couldn't believe this, receive 35% off the price
That's
of the
awesome.
Miyagi-Larusso 2-pack. That's a great offer.
Yeah.
I was surprised at the generosity of that offer. So
It's
thank
awesome.
you, Icon Heroes. And thank you, Pat. Look forward to talking again.
Yes. And for those exclusive fans, type in Miyagi 100 for 100% off, folks. This is a one-time deal. No,
Wouldn't that be cool? That would be like that gift, that never-ending gift card that I have. Just punch in whatever amount you want. I want 75% off. There we go.
Yeah, that's really, really cool. Thank you, Icon Heroes. A pleasure to have this in my small but growing toy collection. And we can use these to, who knows, there could be some fun stop motion, stills, videos. I'm sure you'll come up with something, Sal, it's in your wheelhouse. I just think it's cool. It was fun to come on here and talk about. I also wanted to plug one thing off toys and collectibles for just 1 second, something new on the Just Curious Media website.
Yeah.
And that is on all of our shows now. You can go on there if you wanted to pull a quote or hear what we said or like see what we said. Cause sometimes it's like, oh man, we have so many episodes now, but all of our transcripts are on the website. They're linkable.
Very cool.
At some point, I'm probably going to put them into the show notes, but this is a whole new thing. And our transcripts are more interactive. And Sal, why don't you explain that? And I'll say who they're powered by, but please, your interpretation, because I saw you looked at them the other day and really liked them.
Yeah, I did. You sent me a note saying, hey, check this out. And I hadn't seen it before. I checked it out. And it was so cool and interesting to read our show. It was you and I was reading us. Yeah. It was very cool. And even where there were AI errors, hilarious. Yeah. Hilarious. I actually got a kick reading our stuff. So believe me, anybody out there that wants to read our stuff, maybe people who are hearing impaired possibly want to read the show.
Well, there's that. Yes.
Hey, please, everybody. I think it's a wonderful resource. And as I said to Jason before, it's the intersection of cool and practical, because I like cool things that are useful and practical, like action figures, right?
Yeah, like these things.
Yeah, like dolls.
Yeah, so it is powered by Otter AI. I was going to do real transcripts of every episode, and I realized, wow, it's very expensive, time inducive, and we have a lot of episodes, and now I'm doing X amount of weeks. So I also I like being a trendsetter and trying new things, and so I spent the time and did Otter AI on every single transcript, and then you had to think how you're going to do this. So I linked them. So if you go to our website, justcuriousmedia.com, and go down to each show individual, it'll say transcripts. Just click that button and it takes you to a special page that I've made that houses each show episode by episode. They're in a chronological order, but all the way down. You click on it. You don't just see and read us. What's cool, Sal, is you click a button and it also plays along. And that is such a cool
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
So you will see typos because it's about 85% accurate. I knew that going in, but you can click it and they have embedded. It's not as high quality as our stuff because, they're processing it and the MP3 is a little bit lower profile, but it's meant there just to be a tool. So you can read it and you see it going along and you hear it if you want.
Wait, when you say hear it, you mean hearing our show?
Here you can hear and read at the same time.
Okay, not an AI voice. I thought you meant an AI voice.
No, it's us.
Nice.
Sorry,
okay.
It's us. And it's really cool. I like that angle. And I was like, you know what? That's cool. And if there was a real bad typo, which it's really neat, I can go in there and correct it. Or if I play a video or a clip, it gets confused. So I have to go in there and say, no, that's media. That's not us. But you can go in there, I can make a change and the link stays the same. So I really like the flexibility. Like you said, practical meets, what was it?
Cool.
Cool. Yeah, it is cool. It's hip. It's cool. And so every one of our shows has that. It's kind of like a blog. And so even for us, it's like, oh man, did I say that in season 4, episode 3? Well, I'd have to scrub the whole, actual file to maybe find it. Well, now you and I could be like, oh no, we can pull quotes from ourselves. Or the other shows, Let's Talk Movies, That's a Crime, Doggone. It allows us to it helps with SEO and things. So I just think it's neat. Anybody wants to quote us or pull something, go there, go to justcuriousmedia.com, go down to transcripts. Very, very cool. And also, if you're on YouTube Live, click the closed caption button and it's automatically, creates closed caption, which I also love. I've kind of gotten used to watching things online.
I do like it. I like
seeing it. And it can be really cool if it's integrated nicely. So So kudos there. A lot of fun. Had to do
Yeah.
that plug. And that's really all I got, Sal. It was a lot of fun having yet another the Karate Kid and Cobra Kai Collectibles Volume 2. Tons of fun. And thank you again to, let me hold them up, Icon Heroes.
Yeah, and remember iconheroes.com for the discount of 35%, Miyagi 35.
So thank you so much for listening. And please be sure to subscribe to the Let's Talk Cobra Kai podcast and the Let's Talk Cobra Kai YouTube live channel. You can also really help us by giving the show a 5-star rating on Apple Podcast.
And for all you listeners that enjoy sharing your thoughts, you can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, send us a direct message, or post a comment on any Let's Talk Cobra Kai social media platform.
We also highly recommend checking out our other podcast and visiting justcuriousmedia.com.
No mercy.
Thanks, Daniel.